I used to jog every morning. Same route, same stretch of cracked sidewalks and dying trees. It wasn't about fitness. I just needed the routine. Something predictable. Something I could control. After the divorce, after the house, after everything, I needed this loop. 5 miles. In and out. Done before dawn. The loop went through an old park at the midpoint. Not the clean type with kids and swing sets, but the forgotten kind. Twisting paths, broken benches, dead leaves clinging to rusted fences. A place that always felt 2 weeks post-apocalypse. It started 2 Mondays ago, the first time I saw him. It was still dark, maybe 5:10 a.m., and I was just entering the park. The cold was sharp enough to sting, and my breath came in short clouds. That's when I noticed a figure standing completely still by the edge of the path. He was wearing a gray hoodie. No logos, no colors, just gray. The hood was up, his head was down. I slowed slightly, instinct kicking in, but I didn't stop. Too proud for that. I jogged past, keeping him in my peripheral vision. He didn't move. No flinch, no nod, no acknowledgement, just stood there, like a statue made of skin and fabric. I shook it off, chalked it up to another homeless guy or early morning weirdo. Big city, strange people. But the next morning, he was there again, in the same spot with the same stance. By Wednesday, I was spooked enough to take a different route. I cut around the park and added an extra half-mile. Felt dumb doing it, like I was letting some silent nobody control me. Still, I didn't want to see him again. Thursday, I didn't run. Excuse was the rain. But by Friday, I was restless, anxious, like skipping my jog had thrown off something delicate inside me. So, I went back. I even told myself I wanted to see him again, to prove he was just some harmless transient and not some shadow stalking my mind. This time, I brought a flashlight. When I reached the park, I flicked it on. The cone of light cut through the mist, illuminating nothing but branches and fog. He wasn't there. I exhaled and chuckled to myself. Maybe I'd imagined it all, maybe I needed therapy more than cardio. Then the flashlight flickered, just once, a soft buzz, then darkness. When it came back, he was standing 10 feet in front of me. There was no sound, no movement. He was just there. I yelped. I never yelp. My legs wanted to run but froze and my body was dumb and heavy. The light shook in my hand, beam jittering over him. Still no face, just darkness under the hood. I took a shaky step back as his head ticked sideways, sharp, like a bird noticing something. I turned and bolted, flashlight bouncing in my grip. I didn't stop until I burst into the first gas station 2 miles away, drenched in sweat and fear. I told myself I wouldn't go back. And I didn't, not on Saturday and not Sunday. But Monday, I woke up at 4:30, heart pounding, not from a nightmare, just a need, a compulsion. The loop was calling. I fought it for an hour, paced, drank coffee, stared at the wall. By 5:45, I had my shoes on. I'd go a different way, not through the park. I'd just pound concrete under streetlights. But somewhere along the run, I looked up and realized the route had bent. The signs were unfamiliar, the shadows too long. I wasn't on the street anymore. I was back in the park, like the loop had pulled me in on its own. And there he was. I stopped running. I was done pretending I could ignore it. "Who are you?" I yelled, my voice shaking more than I wanted. He didn't answer, just pointed to the side of the path. I hesitated. My pulse throbbed in my ears, but I followed his gesture. There was something lying in the grass. A body, face down, with clothes torn and jogging shoes. The corpse's skull was split open at the back, hair matted with blood. One arm bent at an impossible angle. I felt bile rise in my throat. I couldn't breathe. Then I saw the watch on its wrist. I had a watch like that. It was me, dead, frozen. I spun around, but the hooded man was gone. I don't remember how I got home, but I blacked out, just woke up on my kitchen floor, covered in mud and blood that wasn't mine. I haven't slept since. Every time I close my eyes, I see that path, that body, him. But here's the worst part. Every morning, I wake up with sore legs and dirt under my fingernails. My running app keeps logging miles I don't remember running. Same time, same distance, same loop. I smashed my phone, threw away my jogging shoes, and boarded up the front door. It's 5:03 a.m. now. My feet are cold and I just heard the front door creak open on its own. I think I'm going for a jog. God help me. The loop doesn't care if you're scared. The loop doesn't care if you're dead. It just keeps going. And I can't stop running. There's a man who runs behind me. I don't know when he first started. Maybe he's always been there. Maybe I only started noticing him after the car accident. That was 6 months ago. I walked away with only bruises, but they said I coded in the ambulance. Heart stopped for 37 seconds. Just a blip. A minor, forgettable miracle. But I came back wrong. See, I used to run alone. I liked running alone. My earbuds in, breathing in rhythm, the slap of shoes against pavement, a perfect meditative void. Now, I can't get more than a block before I hear them, the footsteps, behind me. Not next to me, not passing me, just behind me, always behind me. It's not paranoia. I've tested it. I've stopped suddenly. His footsteps stop too. I've pretended to tie my shoe. No one passes by. I've whipped around. Nothing. But the moment I start again, there it is. Step, step, step. I asked my neighbor once, "You ever see someone run behind me in the mornings?" He looked confused. "No, man, you're always alone." But I feel him, close, heavy. His pace syncs with mine. Sometimes I can even hear his breathing, low and wheezy, like someone trying to exhale water. Last Thursday, I tried to outrun him. I ran the fastest 5 miles of my life, lungs screaming and my legs shaking. I thought I lost him, but when I got home, something was off. The door was already unlocked. Inside, muddy footprints led from the hallway to my bedroom, size 13 at least, not my size. I called the cops. They found nothing, no signs of forced entry and no prints they could match. They suggested maybe I tracked the mud in. The next night, I dreamt I was running in pitch black. The path ahead kept stretching, like I was on a treadmill, and behind me, I could hear him, so close I could feel his breath on my neck, cold and damp. When I turned in the dream, he wasn't a man. Not anymore. His skin was swollen, translucent. His eyes were black and wide and wet, like he had drowned. I woke up screaming. I didn't run the next day, but at 5:07 a.m., I heard my front door unlock, slowly, casually, like someone had a key. I stood frozen in the hallway, holding a baseball bat. The door creaked open, but no one was there, just wet footprints that led to the mirror in the bathroom. On the glass, drawn in condensation, were 4 words. "You stop, I don't." I haven't slept in days. I tried booking a hotel, he followed. I tried flying to Chicago. He was waiting there for me too. I even stopped running entirely. Locked myself in the bathroom with no windows, thinking if I just stood still. But I heard him. One step, then another. He doesn't need doors, or light, or logic. He just needs me to move. This morning, I woke up standing on the street, in full running gear, barefoot. I don't remember leaving bed. He's changing me. My reflection doesn't blink anymore, and my shadow moves when I don't. Tonight, I found an old newspaper in my mailbox, clipped from 2002. Headline: Jogger drowns in storm drain. There's a photo. It's him, the same man, the same swollen face and the same eyes. But it's the caption that undid me. Authorities believe the victim tripped while running during a storm and was pulled into the sewers. The city placed warnings near the park trail after similar accidents occurred in 1983, 1991, and 1996. Similar accidents. Every few years. Always a runner. What if he doesn't just run behind me? What if he's waiting for me to trip? What if he's waiting to trade places? Because tonight, I swear I saw something worse. I passed a storefront window on my run. I glanced sideways, and as always, I expected to see my reflection, but it wasn't me running. It was him, and he was smiling. I run the same route every morning, out along the old highway trail just past town. It's flat, isolated, and marked every mile by crooked metal signs that have been rusting since the 80s. No cars, no people, just me, the wind, and the steady crunch of gravel underfoot. I like the silence, the solitude. It's the only time I feel like I exist without expectation, without anyone needing me to be better than I am. Just a guy with bad knees and a podcast, pushing 40. Last week, on Monday, I passed mile marker 6, and something was different. First, the sign itself. It had shifted slightly, tilted, like someone had tried to pull it out of the ground. Odd, but not unthinkable. The base looked freshly disturbed, like the earth had been shoveled and poorly refilled. And the sound. There were no cars or birds, but just beyond the brush, I heard something move. A single, dragging footstep. I paused, yanked out an earbud and waited. Nothing. I shook it off. It was probably a deer, or maybe a raccoon. But Tuesday, the sign was more tilted, the dirt more disrupted, the air colder. And the sound returned. This time, multiple steps. Sluggish, deliberate, like someone pacing in place just a few feet into the woods. Again, nothing when I looked. No movement and no breath. Just trees that seemed too still. Wednesday, I brought pepper spray, just in case. As I approached the marker, my pace slowed involuntarily, and my stomach tightened. Something felt wrong. Then I saw a footprint in the dirt beside the sign. Bare, human, toes curled, as if the foot had gripped the earth hard before vanishing. I crouched and examined it, but it was still warm. Thursday morning, I skipped the run, but all day, I felt it. That mile, like something at marker 6 was waiting, annoyed I hadn't come. By 5:30 p.m., I cracked. I drove out there, parked by mile 4, told myself I just wanted to see the marker again in daylight. When I got there, the sign was completely uprooted. Lying flat on the ground, dragged several feet down the slope, beneath it in the freshly unearthed soil, fingers, 5 of them, pale, swollen, sticking straight up out of the ground like they were trying to reach me. I ran, faster than I had in years. Friday morning, I woke up to find my running shoes laid out by the door with mud on the soles. I don't remember putting them there. I don't remember running, but my watch had logged exactly 6 miles, ending at 6:06 a.m. That night, I dreamed of being buried. Not dead, just buried. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. I heard my own breath echoing off the dirt pressed to my face. I felt worms twist between my fingers. Above me, something shuffled. Then something spoke, right next to my ear, through the soil.
6 miles down. 1 to go.
Saturday, I didn't go back. But at 6:06 a.m., someone knocked on my window. Not the door. My second-floor window. I live alone. Sunday morning, I decided to tell someone. A friend, a neighbor, anybody. But when I opened my phone to call, I had a message already waiting. From unknown. Subject: you always stop at 6. There was an image attached. It was a photo of me, standing at the edge of mile marker 7. Except, I've never been to mile 7. I tried to find it later, in daylight, driving the trail slowly. But the signs stop at 6. There's nothing after that. The land beyond is just fenced-off forest and overgrowth. County maps don't show a trail beyond that point. As I tried to sleep that night, my phone vibrated again. Another photo. Me again. This time running. But the background was unfamiliar. Trees, dead and gray. The sky pitch black. My face in the image was twisted. Afraid. Looking behind me. In the shadows at the edge of the frame was something. Tall. Pale. Too many joints. Bent forward. Like it had been crawling. But now rising to its full height. Waiting at mile marker 7. This morning, I woke up in bed with dirt in my mouth. Packed between my teeth. Crumbling against my tongue. I nearly choked on it before I rushed to the sink. Under the dirt, wedged between my back molars, was a piece of metal. I washed it clean. It was part of a sign, faded paint. The number barely legible, but unmistakable. 7. There's someone running my exact route, at my exact time, wearing exactly what I wear. I first saw him 2 weeks ago. It was still dark, 5:12 a.m. The street lamps buzzed dim orange. I just started mile 2 when I noticed movement ahead of me. At first, I thought it was a reflection in a window, but it was too far, and it was too accurate. He wore a gray thermal shirt, black joggers and blue sneakers with the same worn crease at the ankle. I could even see the reflective strap I keep on my left wrist, for visibility. He ran like I did. Same stride, same limp on the left foot I've had since high school. Same rhythm, breathing every 4 steps. I stopped cold and watched him fade into the curve near Elm Street. When I got home, I checked my security footage, just to calm myself. But at 5:12 a.m., I wasn't on the footage. I always pass the front camera. It's how I time myself. But that day, nothing. Just silence and empty sidewalk. I didn't run the next morning. I couldn't stop picturing him. By Thursday, my nerves calmed enough to try again. Same route, same time. This time, I saw him behind me. I turned around a block into the run and spotted him at the end of the street. Same outfit, same limp, same pace. He stopped when I stopped. I waved half-heartedly. He waved back a split second later. Not just a wave. The same wave. Palm out. Slight tilt. Nervous. Identical. I turned and ran the fastest 3 miles of my life and didn't look back once. When I got home, my porch light was already on. I leave it off when I leave. Always. Inside, I found my shoes. The ones I wore on the run were still by the door, dry, clean. When I looked at my feet, I wasn't wearing shoes anymore, and my socks were soaked. I peeled them off and found dirt packed under every toenail, and between my toes, shards of broken mirror. I didn't sleep that night. Every noise made my heart jump. My bedroom mirror stayed covered with a towel. It had started to feel like a window, not a reflection. On Friday, I went to the police. I said someone was stalking me, mimicking me. They asked if I had any proof. I showed them my security footage, or tried to because the footage was corrupted. Static. No usable video between 5:08 and 5:37 a.m. The officer asked if I was sleeping well. I left before I could punch him in the face. Saturday, I ran in the daylight, on a crowded route, with no headphones, just other people. I felt safe again, normal, until someone jogged past me going the opposite way. I only saw him for a second, but it was enough. He wore my face. Not just a face like mine. Mine. The same forehead scar, the same crow's feet, even the chipped left canine I've had since childhood. His eyes met mine. He smiled, and then he was gone. I ran home, took every mirror down. I've been living in this dim, glassless house ever since. I keep my television on, but it only shows static now, no matter what channel. Yesterday, I opened my closet and found a second set of my clothes, hung perfectly, right down to the wrist strap and the crease in my shoes. There was a note tucked into the left sneaker, scrawled in handwriting that looked exactly like mine. You only get to be one person at a time. This morning, I woke up on the front porch, but I had no memory of leaving my bed. My feet were muddy again. There were fresh footprints leading away from the porch toward my usual route. So I ran after them. I didn't even change clothes. I just ran, barefoot, shirtless, into the early morning dark. When I reached Elm Street, I saw him again, standing still. He looked confused, like he'd been expecting to be alone. This time, I didn't stop. I charged at him. But the second I reached him, something shifted, like air turning to water. My legs collapsed. My head spun. I couldn't breathe, and everything around me twisted. Then I was standing up straight again, alone, breathing, normal. Except I could hear footsteps behind me. I turned. No one there. I smiled anyway. It was a good run. I think I'll do it again tomorrow. Same time. Same route. Same man.